Did you learn anything today that you didn't already know last night?
No, you always learn stuff watching the tape, and I think definitely some spacing issues offensively that we can clean up. A few things defensively, but we didn't learn a whole lot. I mean, what felt like happened last night, it was confirmed by the tape.
That's a little bit about it. Putting Reeves on Steph, how did that change things for you guys?
Didn't really change much. They were just much better defensively. They were really aggressive. We heard them in the pocket, in game 2 on our high screens, and they were, as expected, they brought much more force and energy defensively, and got a lot more deflections and caused more disjointed possessions for us. But you expect that. On the road, a team, playing in front of their home crowd, coming off a loss, you expect that type of energy and force. And with that said, we've got an 11-point lead midway through the second quarter. So I didn't feel like there was a great mystery to the game or any massive strategic changes. There were some adjustments and stuff, but it felt more like just we sort of lost our poise mid-second. Same thing that we saw in the game was confirmed on film.
Steve, yesterday before the game, Darvin Ham talked about the emphasis they put on getting to the line, and he said it was a system that he's built and brought with him. Do they do something differently than other teams? I mean, is the system apparent?
I think everybody teaches, the importance of, not fouling and not reaching and going vertical. And I think, Anthony Davis is obviously a great rim protector, and he does a good job of not reaching. And But no, that's part of their DNA as a team. Is they're really big, they're physical, but they do a good job of defending without fouling. And I think part of the issue for us last night was when we lost our poise a little bit in the second quarter. That's when they started going to the line because they were playing in transition, and tough to guard in transition. Tough to guard anybody in transition, but especially LeBron coming downhill at you, and that's where we started to pick up a lot of fouls.
Players kind of know that there's a difference in free throws in this series, but they seem reluctant to talk about it. I mean, Looney said it's been happening all season. Do you like that, actually, that they don't want to make the whistles or the referees the story?
Yeah, we didn't lose the game because of the officials, so there's no point in whining about anything. There were definitely calls that we didn't like, but every game, both coaches can say that. So this is not about anything other than just our performance.
Steve, you kind of gone away from Gary in this series. Has it been because of spacing, something else?
Game 2, we went more with Dante and Moses. Just felt like it felt like better matchups, and this is a little different series. I mean, Gary is a guy who you can sort of stick on a player and try to shut him down, and that could still be an option for us. So Gary is not out of the loop by any means. It's just the last 2 games we've gone in a different direction.
You guys have been in a lot of different situations and scenarios over the years, but just with the way that this series has gone, with the highs and lows of each game as we've had, I mean, do you view Game 4 almost as a must-win, just because you don't want to be looking at it?
You know my feelings on that expression. Must win is when the other team has 3 wins, and if you lose, you're done. That's a must win. I have faith that our team can win any series as long as we have more games to play. We're in the same situation we were in a year ago in Boston in the finals. Down 2-1 on the road. We know what we have to do to get the job done, and that's the plan.
Steve, at some point, I mean, obviously AD is a great defensive player, but Do you want your guys to challenge him a little bit more? I mean, to try to draw a foul or just force the issue a little bit? Or is that just not what's going to happen in the series too much?
No, there are definitely times when we can gain an advantage and challenge him. We just have to pick our spots and understand spacing and the importance of the extra pass. I thought in the second half yesterday we had a ton of one pass possessions and we didn't make the defense move. If you're not making the defense move, you're not gaining an advantage. And if you don't gain an advantage with Davis, then you're going to be trying to shoot over the top of him, and that's too difficult.
Steve, over the course of the last two postseasons, how have you noticed Steph's increased strength help him and turn you guys?
How have I noticed Steph
His increased strength.
increased strength?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean he's so much stronger than he was even like 5-6 years ago. I think it shows up in his defense. He's much more capable of standing up a guy who's trying to post him up, keeping him out of the lane. It's allowed him to finish better at the rim, withstand contact, and just stay on balance. And it's pretty impressive when you got a guy who was already, a two-time MVP who's continues to add to his game.
Steve, on the theme of being through everything and winning all these titles, I asked Steph about maybe a moment in this run where the light went off that we really can do anything, any scenario. Did you, as a coach, see that you can do anything, that you can overcome any deficit, win any game that you need to? Did you remember seeing maybe when they were younger that, hey, these guys really can do anything and come through any deficit they might face in a playoff series?
I don't know that there was one moment. I think it's just the body of work. This team for a decade has competed for titles. It doesn't mean we've won every single time, but we've been to the finals 6 times, been through a ton of difficult games, different matchups, different challenges, and so this is all part of it. And I think our guys really are embracing the challenge, and we know what we have to do.
Steve, I think also before Game 4 last year.
I'm sorry?
I think it was before Game 4 against Boston last year where you told us that you told the team, we can lose this series. Have you had that moment with them that they can accept that things can go in the other direction if they don't stick to the game plan or things go, just things go awry? Then an awareness of that, I guess.
I hope there's an awareness of that. I mean, that's kind of the deal. So one team's going to win, one team's going to lose. Not anything that I'm harping on. It's all just part of competition, and that's the challenge is just to go be our best and see what happens.
You mentioned the loss of poise in that second quarter in particular. Even among your veterans, it was apparent. Surprising to see that at this point of the postseason?
Yeah, it was disappointing just because we felt like we were in pretty good control of the game. We're putting together a lot of good possessions, defending, taking care of the ball, and then the fouls and the turnovers and some rushed possessions all kind of came at once, and so we got to do a better job with that.
You ever seen a quarter like that before? You have pretty much everything. I mean, the turnovers, fouls, flagrant fouls, technical fouls too. I mean, you ever seen a quarter like that in the postseason by this team?
Probably, but I can't think of one right now.
That's wild.
Steve, Kuminga's gotten playing time just in the fourth quarters when it's been blowouts. Do those stints matter? I mean, I know they matter some, but do they matter in your calculation?
Yeah,
And
everything matters.
How do you think he's done in those?
I thought the whole group in Game 2 was great in the fourth quarter. We really competed, and I thought last night, the entire team, after the second quarter meltdown, it just didn't feel like we were ourselves, and so that was third and fourth quarter. So it was really everybody. I didn't like the possessions we had. Most of the second half, a lot of one-pass possessions, and we've got to get better no matter who's on the floor, whether it's our reserves or our starters.
Having been in so many of these types of film sessions before, is there anything specific about like the process of how you guys approach losses that you think has allowed you to bounce back so well through the years?
Just being honest, just being really truthful with the group, with each other, the collaboration that comes from our leaders and the coaching staff. It's never a case of us, walking in there and saying do this or else. It's a film session. It's hey, this is what happened. What can we do about it? And here are our thoughts. Let's hear your thoughts, and that's how we do our business.
When fouling doesn't become an issue, what is unique about the way that Draymond defends Anthony Davis?
Well, Draymond is strong enough to keep bigger guys away from the hoop, and then quick enough to stay in front at the same time. So that's a pretty unique combination. Despite his lack of height, he plays a lot bigger than he is because of the size, because of the speed and the strength, and then also his length. I think he's got a 7'1" wingspan or something. So he plays a lot bigger than he is.
Jordan Poole was such a big part of last year's run.
Who's that?
Jordan Poole.
Yeah.
And he was obviously a little bit inconsistent during the regular season. But what do you guys need to do just to kind of get him going in the playoffs? Considering you kind of need him.
Yeah, I have great faith in Jordan. He's had good playoff games for us this year. He obviously had a great run last year. So he knows, and we know that he can do it. But I thought last night, again, the whole group, we had rushed possessions. You saw Jordan have a couple of them, but so did Steph, so did Clay, so did Draymond. So it's really about the whole group. It's not about one individual guy.
What do you say to guys who might be frustrated with their playing time right now?
Nobody has said anything to me about being frustrated with playing time.